and it bothered me. And I just wanted to say, hey girl, how you doing today? I hope you're good, I hope you're doing okay. If you're not, come around the way. And here's what I gotta say. I want you to be free and happy, just like me. But it ain't easy. I still go through things. Sometimes I still feel the pain. Tears still flow like rain. Bills driving me insane. Sometimes I wanna
Hey,
be
you guys.
alone.
I hope you
Up
all are
in my
doing
home,
well on
chilling
this
with the fly girls
Monday
on. So we
morning.
can see what's going
Um, this is
on.
the song I wrote for Fly
The
Girl
fly
Zone
girls on,
and
the fly girls
Motivational
on.
Monday.
The fly girls on, the fly girls
I
on.
was going
Gotta
through
take
some
care of my
posts and
with the
scrolling
fly
through
girls
Facebook and I
on.
seen some things that,
The fly
were
girls on, the fly
touching to
girls
me.
on, the
And I
fly
just
girls.
wanted to let
You
women
don't
know
have
that
to be
you can be alone.
alone. Step into
And
the
you have
fly
to
girls on.
excuse if there is a delay. We know how streaming can be. And that's okay. That's okay, right? So let me put the microphone a little closer. Anyways, welcome to Motivational Monday, formerly known as Mental Health Mondays. The topic we're discussing now, the topics that we discuss on your period, are topics that help women um, on a healing journey, and not just that, but to pay attention to our well-being. Right? So, my name is Shanta Fly. I am a celibacy and a healthy mindset coach. I help women heal through celibacy, and I help both men and women who, for them or or someone they love, who want to learn more about a mental health diagnosis, and also want to navigate a mental health care system that is competent of our cultural differences, and it can, make things a little bit more stressful. First, I need to give a disclaimer. I am not a licensed mental health care professional, but I do have a Master of Science in Psychology with a focus on life coaching. So I kind of know a little bit what I'm talking about. I've been coaching people since I was freaking in high school, really, seriously, without even knowing it was coaching. But we'll get into that a little bit later, right? So if you are moved to do so, you can donate at Fly Girl Zone. You can donate cash at Fly Girl Zone. If you're interested in donating through PayPal, just let me know and I can send you a link. Um, but yeah, everything here is legit, just to let you know. So the topic of today is the power of love. So I want to read to you a poem that I wrote in 2013. It is called The Power of Love. I wish for you, even in a dream. Love will never be the same, like how you spoke my name and brought with it a flame, like a spell on my heart. From the moment I stared in those eyes, my pride died, but in a good way. No longer fronting my way, but I gotta let it go. Just a feeling, a lesson to learn, never to play with love, because it is for what you will yearn. In the middle of the night, wanting to hold your pillow tight. Love is no joke. Have you feeling like you're a hooker on coke, ready to take a toke? But I had to take a step back. Love would have to wait, but it didn't wait for me. So I had to leave it all behind. Maybe I'm not the kind that you can love, or the kind to love. Only divine intervention from above can open me up. How did this happen? So abrupt. I used to want love way back when, before love did me in. But I'm still a believer in the power of love. But only this time, I'm waiting for the one sent from above. That is not in the book. Um, my poetry book, which is Stained Glass Windows for Butterflies, which I will link in the description so that you can purchase. You can either purchase it on um, Amazon or you can purchase it from me. You purchase it on Amazon for 20. You purchase it from me for 15. And you get a signed autograph. It's your choice. And a message. Not just a signed autograph. I mean, you don't need my autograph. Okay? But a message. A message that will resonate with you. So let's jump right on in. Now, y'all, tomorrow is officially 12 years. 12 years of me practicing celibacy. So I kind of want to celebrate, right? And I want you to celebrate with me, right? Look, see, I had this for a couple weeks. I was waiting. Let me back up because I don't want, you know. I don't drink often. Sometimes I do. It's okay. I don't drink to get drunk. I used to. But I found that I would drink and get drunk and get up the next day like nothing. And I would have I'd be really sick. I'd be really intoxicated, right? And I could wake up when I the last time I did that, I got drunk off some wine. I took a couple shots. I was talking to one of my homegirls on the phone, and we were just talking away, boy. Before I knew it, the room was spinning. I'm like, yo, I gotta go. Okay, I don't have to, I was prepared and everything. See, this is how much I used to drink. Okay, I was prepared. I was not playing. I don't got time to play. That's how it was back then. I am so not like that anymore. And I do not know how to open this. Okay, easy. Never opened this before. This is actually called Rufiano. Rufino. And it is Procesco Rosé. This is an Italian sparkling wine. Uh, I learned the other day that the champagne is the French. Okay. So celebrate with me today, my 12th year. I get to celebrate my 12th year of practicing celibacy. And I am very honored that I get to share this with you. Uh, it was never in the plans for me to practice celibacy for 12 years. It's been a long journey, so toast to me. Good, really good. Okay. So I've learned to respect the power of love. And it was more than just practicing celibacy that taught me to respect the power of love. A lot of times we go through life and we playing games, right? We're playing games. I hung around with a lot of dudes. A lot of my friends were male men, or guys, I should say. And I learned from a man, a role model. And I seen how he played the game, and I broke a lot of hearts. You know, I'm not proud of it. I had to, learn to respect the power of love. And it was a hard lesson to learn because it hit the middle, it hit my centerpiece, it knocked me off balance. But it was the best thing that it was the greatest lesson that I ever learned. How did it all start? It started long before 2010, November 8th, 2010. It started, I believe, maybe around 2001. You know, the spring 2001, maybe the summer of 2000, but the spring, definitely the spring of 2001. Um, I began to want more out of life. I used to be riding around the streets with my boyfriend, on my little cutlass, and he would open my eyes to things that I wasn't really seeing. Because when you're in it, when you're close to something, sometimes we can't see, right? So one of the first things that he showed me, and I won't really, because I can't talk about this without crying. I could try, but one day it was on a sunny spring day, and we're on Brighton, and he parks on the corner of, I can't remember the name of the street. I want to say Cannon in Brighton. We just sitting there, we high as I don't know what, we just puffing, passing it back and forth, puffing, and these little boys was walking down the street. Matter of fact, no. First, there was this police car, and the police car pulled over. These little boys was walking down the street, and I'm just admiring the little boys because it's like they freaking glowing, right? In this happiness, that's all I see written all over them, and you know, you don't get a chance to see that a lot, and I'm like, wow, okay. They was just getting out of school, and this is grade school, just getting out of school, right? All these little kids is grade school, and I'm gonna give them 12. I don't think they were 12 yet. I'm gonna just give it to them. And so my boyfriend is like, watch, and I'm like, okay. And so the Jakes jumped out the car, and they began to, interrogate them, search them. I never seen fear on anybody's face. It was like he stole their joy. He stole their peace. And, you know, we're kind of used to our male relatives, brothers, uncles, cousins, our male friends going in and out of the system, some of them. So it's like nothing to us. It's normalized. It's a normal part of our growth. Not even growth. It's a normal part of our living. It was at that moment that I saw the amount of what it really was. I remember talking to my male friend on the phone. He always made me laugh. He went, after school, we talked every day after school. You know, he was from Syracuse. And he would always say, make jokes about Kirk Franklin. Oh my goodness. He used to have me cracking up. And one day, he was I said, what happened? He said he was stopped and searched. Him, he ain't that type. He's not that type. He wasn't that type of dude. And it began to change him, and I could tell. But it was my first time seeing it. So fast forward a little bit. Me and my boyfriend going to his grandparents' house. He like, look at this right here. And it's just blood stains on the porch. And it was the first time that it became an anomaly. I remember sitting on porches, and I remember a family member's house had bullet holes under the window sill. Um, on the east side, when they lived on the east side, on Columbus Ave. And there were bullet holes in the window. Inside, you can see it. And these were things that were normal to us. It wasn't anything that seemed out of the ordinary, which is crazy, right? And him waking me up began to wake me up to uh, uh, the calling of the spirit, right? Calling my spirit to go to a higher level. And even on sunny days, it became really, really gray. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in. You can leave the messages, and I will I'll get back to you after this is over. I just really want to focus on this, though. But hi, and thank you for watching. Um, him waking me up did something to my spirit. And there was one day we were, riding. We were riding up Salina, down Salina. I'm sorry, and the sky was so blue with all these beautiful, puffy clouds begging to be seen. And Jill Scott's The Way came on. And I'm just listening to it. Is this the way you love me, baby? And so I'm just listening. I'm listening to the words. And I'm looking at my boyfriend like, I don't feel like this. He don't make me feel like this. The more I'm listening to the song, I'm also feeling this pull, this magnetic pull from the sky. And so, I look up towards the sky and I'm like, God, is this what love feels like? I want to feel that. You have to be careful what you ask the universe for. You have to be careful what you ask God for, because you don't know how you're going to get it. And to make a long story short, God began to pull me away from the streets. There was one night, I want to say it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. But when you in the streets, 1 o'clock is early. That's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So I'm with my boyfriend, we with his cousin and his cousin girlfriend, which is my homegirl. We kind of grew up together. And we was gonna ride around, smoke, whatever. We was finna ride around and we're to everything I love. Not even a half an hour later, my tire pops. Okay? My tire. My tire goes flat. So my boyfriend and his cousin get out. They put the donut on. We ain't even get down the street good enough. The donut goes flat. What is going on here? And so my boyfriend was just like, I'm gonna take the car. I can't take it to no shop right now. But I'm gonna take it in the morning. So I had to go to a family member's house. And I didn't really mean to go to her house that late. And now it's like, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And she answers the door. She goes upstairs. My older cousin, she come downstairs. She said, you ain't think I was going to let you get away with this, did you? She said it's only three kind of women that be in the street this way: drug dealers, drug users, and prostitutes. Which one are you? That was it. That was it. I never stayed out late in the street like that. Again, that's why it's important for us to, share lessons, learning lessons with our younger sisters, right? Because if they don't know any better, they don't know any better, then how they going to know which road to take? Because they have to take that path alone, right? How they going to know which road to take? They don't. So they take the broad road, right? The road that everybody else is on. Okay. So I began to move away from the street, and I remember me and my cousin. And I take a sip. I remember me and my cousin. We were talking one day, and it was all getting pretty depressing. And I said to her, I said, we were talking about guys we dated. The good dudes, they don't want us. They think we ghetto. Or either they scared of us. And I can't remember what else was said, but it was just like, why don't we meet any other dudes? I'm like, what's up? And she's like, this is all we know. That's all we know. Why? Why is it all we know? And I wanted to know something different. And I began to focus more on my healing. I know I needed to heal. And I was in my car one day and I'm listening to the radio. I just wanted to get away from people. And all of a sudden, Erica Badu's song come on. So, that's my jam. Bad lady, you gon' hurt your back. Dragging all those bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you. All you must hold on to is you. Oh, yes, they do. But that particular day, yo, let me tell you something. Okay. Man, the spirit was all over me, convicting me, like, pay attention, listen, you're a bad lady. You gotta clean up. When the spirit speaks to us, it's different than hearing with our spirit, with our physical ear. We hear it with our spiritual ear. And nothing that we translate, it loses its meaning in translation, right? But so the spirit was just all over me, but I still got my foot halfway in the street, right? So one day, I went to my own girl house, and it's late. It's still late. I just got out of work. I worked from 3 to 11. I just got out of work, and I go to her house, and they just had a shooting, near her house, like, on the corner, and she lived a couple houses from the corner. And I was scared. I really was scared. I was scared of retaliation. And she's sitting on the porch. We both sitting on the porch, but she's sitting with her. I can't. This her porch. I can't, body her porch, right? So I gotta be respectful, but I'm looking over my shoulder like this, and I can't do this, So I started getting mad, nervous, and the spirit was like, "Leave, go home." And I didn't want to go home. It's early. I didn't want to go home. It's still early. Spirit is go home, go home. So I know that every time I have not listened to God telling me to leave, something always happens. So I'm like, yo, tell my homegirl, yo, I gotta go. And I go home. and God moves me. I'm home. I'm doing my hair. I just went natural that year. Just went natural. Just did my big job. So I'm doing my hair. I'm braiding it up. God is like, get up and go to the store. So I go to Walmart and I get all this breakfast stuff. I come home. I cook breakfast for my grandparents. My grandfather looking at me like, he looking at the food and looking at me and looking at the food like, and this is what he said. He said, you ain't finna die, is you? I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm in this. My spirit is being awakened. So when we go through a spiritual awakening, we can do a lot of crying. It can feel like we're depressed. That is our spirit elevating, because in order to grow, you have to push up through things, and it's not it hurts sometimes. So it can seem like a depression, but it is not a depression. There is a difference in a spiritual awakening and in a depression. Okay. So I started confessing some things. I didn't confess everything, you know what I'm saying? But I started confessing some things, and they still really didn't understand. And God is like, get up, go outside. And I go outside. He was like, that confession was not for them. That confession was for me. And then God directed my eyes to across the street from my house. There was this big old flower, a rose, and it was a fuchsia rose, and it bloomed. And God is like, pay attention to this. Don't forget this. Now get up and go to bed. Go to sleep. Go lay down. So I obey. And I go to sleep and I go lay down. And this prayer wakes me up when my grandmother gets home from church. Because mind you, I ain't been asleep yet. And the spirit wakes me up when my grandmother get home. Ask her what the sermon is about. And the sermon was about trust. And the spirit was like, ask her what happened. Ask her what happened. And so I asked her what happened, and she was like, well, you know, the pastor brought a girl and her mom up and had the girl fall back in a trust exercise. And that was what the spirit gave me, the dream. I dreamt of that. So God was letting me know it's real. I'm real. I'm here. And I began to learn love. So in my question, when I'm asking God, what's love? I want to love like that. God filled me with his love. And I'm going to fast forward a few years later. But wait a minute, before I do that, I want to say the greatest love of all is losing ourselves to fall in love with God, right? Seriously, it's the greatest love of all. Celibacy, what I learned, is not about denying ourselves of sex. It's about pushing ourselves to be the greatest version of ourselves. And to do that, we have to go through some things, right? Listen, let me tell you something. I went to 4 schools trying to get one degree, my bachelor's degree. I graduated in 2004 with my associate's degree. I graduated the student trustee, and I was a few points shy from graduating cum laude. I made the dean's list every single semester. And I was also a human rights recipient. I had won an award. But at the same time, I was a girl from the streets on a mission. So after graduating, I transferred to Howard. I was never supposed to go to Howard, so it was never going to work out. So financially, things did not work out. I was never supposed to go. I was fasting and praying, God, am I supposed to go? I was sick several times. No, that's not the path that I have. But God knew what I was going to do. Anyways, God knew I was going to do that. God knew I was going. And what happened was I walked towards a storm, right? I had to come home. So in 2006, after my grandfather passed away, I'm still mourning. After me and my boyfriend break up, you know, I'm mourning. I'm mourning my grandfather. I'm mourning the loss of my maternal grandfather. I'm mourning the loss of my grandfather who raised me. I'm mourning the loss of my boyfriend. He had not died yet, but I'm mourning the loss of our relationship. I knew it was over. I knew that that love that we had built when I was 16, that was no more. It was done. It was gone. It was over. And going to Lemoyne, I liked it. Only I could not be happy there, even with the good grades that I was getting. So my grades began to slip a little bit. The A's that I was getting, they didn't mean anything to me anymore because I used to come home to my grandfather. Hey, look at this A that I got. And he was very happy. And there was no one to be happy for me anymore. No one to share the joy. So I dropped out. And in 2008, I enrolled in Brockport College. Man, listen, let me tell you something. That's a whole other saga, okay? In and of itself, I went through some things there. I was spiritually tested, emotionally tested, mentally tested. I had a breakdown so that I can get to my breakthrough. It was a beautiful thing. I don't regret any of it, right? Again, if the spirit moves you, I can use your donations to keep the lights on for Fly Girls Only and to keep bringing you messages, and not just to keep bringing you messages, but also to for interviews. But in 2008, in 2010, uh, not quite a year. No, about a year after my boyfriend was killed, I had a breakdown and I couldn't work. I couldn't go to school. Although I was used to falling and getting back up, falling and getting back up. I could not move. I was, I literally couldn't move. It was like I was spiritually paralyzed. And I knew I wanted to finish my degree, and I just thought life was over for me. And like, wait a minute, I can go to Empire College, Empire State College. So in 2012, I enrolled in Empire State College. And listen, let me tell you something, honey, okay? My first couple of semesters there were no better. I went through some things, okay? And I withdrew from the semester because I was going through some things. It was just the heaviness of my heart. And so I made it up in my mind that I wasn't going back to school. I don't, cried myself to sleep one night. God, just please let me work a regular job. All I just want to do is work. I just please let me work. I promise. I'll be content. I won't complain or nothing. I just need to work a regular job. I just need to get on my feet. And God took me to a high place, full of light, soft light. I mean, a light. I mean, the light that we see on this earth cannot compare to that light. And love. We assume that love is a feeling. Love just is. I mean, it's the air we breathe. It's from wherever God had took me. I heard singing. Hallelujah. They were singing hallelujah. And I was told to be patient. And I woke up from the dream and I knew. I'm like, okay, God, all right. So a little while later, Maya Angelou came to the city that I live in. And it's just like, what? Why? First, when I learned that she was coming here, I was like, why the heck is she coming here to this little small little town? What the heck is she coming here for? I mean, I was honored for her to come here. You know, I think everybody was honored for her to come here, but this place. So I knew I had to go. It didn't matter how much the tickets were. They could have been $1,000. I would have scraped them $1,000 up, and we was going. So I paid for myself and I paid for my grandmother to go. I only wanted to go with my grandmother. You know, there were other people that wanted to go with me, but I wanted to go with my grandmother. And I was still very hurt. The heaviness, it hurt to smile. So I'm sitting there, and I really didn't even get a chance to enjoy her. I still remember some of the things that she said, but I was hurting so bad. But one thing that picked me up was when she said, "Finish school." And I know that she was talking to the audience, the high school students that were there. Finish school. But God moved her. That was a message for me. And I know that was a message for me. And I told God, I said, you know what? One more try. God spoke to my spirit and said, that's all I need. And listen, I graduated in 2015. And God placed me right in God showed me my storm. It was June 13th. I think this was June 12th though. This was the day before I graduated, June 12th. You can look it up. New York State, there was a tornado warning. We're on the New York State Thruway. All of our phones pinged. Find cover. The sky was black. I mean, it was sheets of rain. You couldn't see in front of you. The rain pouring down was like silk. We could not see in front of us. My grandmother wanted to pull over because she was driving. My grandmother wanted to pull over. My niece and my nephew and my sister was in the back and I'm in the front. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, we got to keep going. You know, we can't turn around, right? We on the New York State Thruway. How we finna pull over? We're in safety. We had to keep going. And I told my grandma, I said, no, we go by faith and not by sight. And then God is like, this is your storm. This was your storm. This is what your storm looked like. You had to keep going. You couldn't turn around. You couldn't pull over. You couldn't stop. You had to keep going. You had to keep going by faith. And when we got to Albany, which is where my graduation was, when we got to Albany, I mean, the light, I mean, after a rain, if you ever noticed and looked and been outside after a rain, after a really bad storm, and I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, even for me to say how beautiful it was, it wouldn't do it justice. I mean, even the rainbows, the setting of the sunlight hitting buildings and trees, and I mean, it was just beautiful. It was so beautiful. But I still was hurting. I had to keep going. But in 2020, I graduated from Grand Canyon University with my Master of Science in Psychology, and with a focus on life coaching. But that was never the plan for me. The plan for me was to go to a school to be a dietitian in Albany. But God had other plans. See, when we give ourselves over to God, we have to trust that God is going to take us to places that's good for us, take us down a path, and it may not be a pretty path. Okay, don't go following the yellow brick road. Okay, it may not be a pretty path, but we just have to trust it because it's the best path to take. So for me, practicing celibacy, it wasn't always easy, you know. I missed the intimacy, and more than the physical intimacy, I just missed the intimacy, the being in the presence of a man and just feeling the masculine energy, you know, and when they allowed me to glow in my feminine energy, I missed that. And so one day, I'm talking to God, I'm ready to be married. I want to be married. uh, I this and I that, and I'm talking about God. When you gonna send me my husband? And God spoke to my spirit and said, "You're not ready. You are self-absorbed." Those are not exact, I mean, the spirit speaks a language that the physical ear can never understand. It's a spirit thing, and I had to fall back, and I'm like, "Oh, what is God talking about? I'm not ready, and I'm self-absorbed, and are you listening to yourself?" And my attention was immediately drawn to how I talked about marriage. I want my husband, and I want us to, and it wasn't even us. It was I want, I. And I realized it was I, me, and mine. And I'm like, wow, I have to grow. I have to change my mindset. It's not I, me, or mine. It's us, we, and ours. And until I can get that into my spirit and into my mindset, I'm not ready. So I had to, that was back in 2008. I'm sorry, 2017 to 2018, around that time. And I had to learn that it is not all about me. And if I really want a marriage to work, then I had to change the I to an us, the we into the me into a we, and the our and the mine into ours. It took a little bit of time to do that. I don't really want to really discuss too much about, me not having children. It was a choice that I made, and I don't regret it. And I won't say that I did not want children. I wanted it on my terms, the way that I wanted it. And I had to be honest with myself. I wasn't ready to be selfless. And I was still pretty selfish. Selfish with my time, selfish with my money. And I just wanted things my way. God is just like, you're selfish. And God showed me this in a poem that I wrote called Selfish. And it's a poem that you can read in Stained Glass Windows for Butterflies. But I had to grow. I had to grow. only did I grow through celibacy, I healed. I went on a Sankofa journey. I healed. I began to see because now I don't have someone else's spirit. I don't have someone else's spirit intertangled, intertwined, and tangled up in mine. There's no blockages. It's me. Only person in my way is me. I had to move out of my way. The way that I did that was I began to heal my traumas. I had to look at my most recent trauma. And at that time, it was I was going through depression, so it was quite a bit. I can't no, 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 no. The most recent trauma was directly connected and related to me being sexually abused and raped. And I had to put it in my mind that I forgive them. Even though I did not forgive them, forgiveness takes time. People take it for granted and they assume that forgiveness, you say you forgive somebody, you happen overnight. That is denial. That is not forgiveness. That's denial. A lot of people want us to live in denial. They want us to live in denial. They don't want us to acknowledge that something has been hurt. So they, oh, forgive me, I'm sorry. And if they say sorry, and then they want you to move on with life because they don't moved on, they don't say sorry. And now, ain't no need for you to talk about it no more. Ain't no need for you to go on about it no more. I'm sorry. Move on with your life. Forget that I hurt you, and I'm not even acknowledging how I hurt you or, what it did to you, but you need to forget that. Okay. Move on with your life. That's denial when we do that. That means the door is still open for people to hurt us in the same exact way. That means we're not putting up boundaries. We don't get a chance to put up, we learn to put up boundaries. So I had to forgive. I had to tell myself I forgive the one who sexually molested me and the one who raped me. I had to put it in my mind that I forgive them. But I also, and how I did that, their sin is not my sin because we can allow the things that hurt us to become our sin, and we do that through revenge. Okay? It's not necessarily doing something that they did, it's revenge. And I have to be honest, I wanted to hurt him. I wanted him to feel the insecurity that I still feel because I'm never going to be the same. The insecurity that I feel, the uncomfortableness that I felt with my own body. I felt very uncomfortable with my body. Very uncomfortable with my body. I felt uncomfortable with my breast, so I had to deal with those things, but I had to get to it. And then I had to get to the root cause. So my celibacy caused me to heal in ways that I never even imagined. I started forgiving people who were not even sorry, who didn't even know that they hurt me. I began forgiving. I began forgiving. And it felt good. And my joy was my joy and my peace and my security was stolen from me. But it was returned. And it returned through celibacy because there was nothing in my way except me. And I went through this whole tug of war fighting with myself, right? Because that's what we do. We don't it hurts to heal. Think about a bruise. Healing. Think about us getting hurt, cut. It stings and it hurts to heal. So it is with the mind. So it is with our spirit. So it is with our emotion. Okay? It hurts. Healing hurts. But it feels good when you can finally sit back and then you know what it's like to exhale. You understand what it's like to exhale. Are you ready to heal? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself. I'm a life coach. I'm a celibacy coach. I help women heal. I can't help men heal through celibacy because I don't know what a man goes through. I know what a woman goes through because I'm a woman. Are you ready to heal? If you are, I would love to work with you. I would love to work with you. I would love to help you heal. I am offering free coaching to one person, and I will link everything in the description. I will link my link tree so that you can visit my link tree so that you can take advantage and see all the things that I'm into. But hey, you guys, listen, it's almost time for me to go. And I will not be doing another Motivational Monday until December. I have to get ready for 2023 because I got some things coming up. I have to prepare for it. I also have to prepare for Fly Girl Zone. Just to let you in on a little bit, I am. I don't just want to say I don't want to, fly. So I'll say Fly Girl Zone because Fly Girl Zone is about more than me. Uh, uh, pl- uh, it's in the plans to um, hold a conference, a panel of women to get together to talk about the strong Black woman myth, the things that we go through as women. If you are interested in joining us, by all means. But I might end up contacting you anyways. I have contacted some women, and they have agreed to, be on the panel. This will be in the spring, which marks new beginnings. I'll start advertising it shortly. Um, so if you're interested, I'm sorry. Email me at flygirlzone@gmail.com. You can get to my link tree through here, but I will link everything up. And hey, listen, 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 listen. If you are going through a crisis or someone you know is going through a crisis, 988, call that number. It's a national suicide help hotline. You don't just have to be about to commit suicide. It's a crisis line. Call there. And you don't have to go through any of this alone. There is help out there. If you're interested in donating, again, Fly Girl Zone. That's a Cash App. This is the power of love. The topic we have been talking about today is the power of love. Hey, listen. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, go to my link tree and hit Ask Bliss, and I will discuss it on live. And like I said, this is going to be my last live for Mental Health Mondays for a while, but I will be going on live. But you have to go to my Facebook page, the Fly Girls on Facebook page. That is when I will be doing the live. And y'all, I'm not feeling tipsy. But my words are slurring a little bit. I'm not feeling tipsy though. I've only had a few sips, but I'm kind of feeling a little good. I don't drink often, but this is cause for a celebration. You know, we might get people telling us that, oh, you shouldn't drink, especially with me being, an ordained minister. But I don't get drunk and I don't drink very often. And I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to do because I'm not hiding anything from God, so I won't hide anything from you. This is cause for a celebration. Thank you guys for celebrating with me. My name is Shantae Bliss Barr. I am a life coach. I coach women on how to heal through celibacy, and I coach both men and women on how to navigate through a mental health care system. I am the author of Stained Glass Windows for Butterflies. It is a poetry book of movement, transformation, and growth. I am also a speaker. And if you are interested in working with me, contact me at the links below. Hey, listen, I love you all with the love of Christ. Honor your mother, honor your father, respect your sisters and your brothers. Be kind to your neighbors. But most of all, honor, respect, love, and be kind to yourself. Peace out. I love you all. Oh, wait a minute, you guys. Let me explain a little bit about honoring your mother and your father. And when I say honor your mother and your father, I am not just talking about, I am not just
You don't have to
talking
be alone, girl.
your mother, your
Just
biological
make
mother, your
yourself at
biological father.
home, chilling
Your
with the
elders
windows
are your
on.
mother and your
You got
father.
to be
Okay. Honor
alone
them.
when you with the fly girls on. Gotta take care
The
of your
people you know,
dog
the people
when
you
the
grew
fly
up with, the
girls
people you
on.
have relationships with.
Got a
Those are
problem
your
with
sisters and
me
your brothers. Your
every
neighbors
day.
are your strength.
Just
You have to be
relax
kind to yourself
and
too.
set
Okay.
your mind free. Gotta relax sometimes. Got a problem with me every day ain't easy.
Y'all, make
Just
sure you go to Fly
relax
Girl
and
Zone,
set your
a
mind
magazine
free.
website. I'm still
You don't
working
have
on it.
to be
Hey, listen, y'all gotta go read that article that I
alone.
wrote
Just
about
make
Young and the
yourself at
Restless, because they doing it up on Young and the
home.
Restless. Okay, they just really
Come and make yourself at
setting a fire there. So
home.
listen, let me tell you something. Now, if you can't stay in the
Just
heat,
make
don't
yourself
step in
at
that kitchen. Okay,
home.
you don't have to be alone. You can always come to the Fly Girl Zone,
Every day.
and you can learn about what to do and take your mind off your problems. If you're interested in working with us, submitting some articles, putting some of your video content on here, you know uh, absolutely. If you want to be a contributor, contact me and we can definitely talk. Okay, again, I love you all with the love of Christ.
Keep going, fly
It
girl.
is okay
Keep going, fly
to
girl.
not be okay.
Keep going, fly girl.
Keep going, Fly Girl.